Good morning. Becky Moon here. I'm a vocalist in Southern California, cover band singer, tribute singer, and I just woke up like a half an hour ago, and I wanted to say hello with my drive this year to make a YouTube video every day, and I have done it unsuccessfully. So I just want to share my process with you guys and share some of my experience about being a professional lead singer. So two things I want to talk about today. The first is sleep. So for a singer, sleep is essential. Sleep is where my voice recovers and heals from the athleticism that I put it through the day before or the week before. So I have always been a non-sleeper. I'm a person that is natural high energy. I have a bipolar diagnosis, and so I've dealt with that for decades. And I was a 2 to 4 hour sleeper every day, 2 to 4 hours. And this is not an exaggeration. So what happens for me when I close my eyes, my mind continues to go on. It's very much like I'm watching a television show. The best way to describe it is I'm watching TV and I just keep changing the channels. So my thoughts are firing, boom, 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 and I can't shut them down. And I get frustrated, and so I try to do mundane things to calm me down. Sudoku was a go-to on my phone. Sudoku was a go-to. Seemed to help after a few hours. If I wake up in the middle of the night, forget it. Because I wake up and I'm like, oh, please don't start thinking. And if I start thinking, boom, the thoughts start firing. So 2 years ago, I consulted my psychiatrist about this because my singing was becoming more intense, more frequent, 4 or 5 days, sometimes double shows, often 4 or 5 hour shows. Like, the casinos work you to the bone. And so I was singing, I am singing, at least 25, 30 hours a week, whether it's a rehearsal or a studio thing or a coaching session or whatever it is. I sing at the performance level of elite athletes. If you are that kind of a singer, you are a singer that is an elite athlete, and your recovery time is just as important as your performance time. So I consulted my psychiatrist 2 years ago, and I was prescribed a mood stabilizer, which is very effective tends to be effective for bipolar people in their sleep. And I discovered sleep for the first time in my life. I was like I am married to someone who's like, good night, and is out. And if he wakes up in the middle of the night and you talk to him and you have a full-on conversation, okay, good night, and he just knocks out. I'm not that girl. My mind starts to fire and it's over. So on my prescribed medication, I sleep like 7 to 8 hours like clockwork. It is a miracle in my life. I think honestly my willingness to take medication, because I've been resistant to it for the first time in my life. I have a daughter that's in the medical field, and she said to me, Mom, please listen. You go to the doctors and then you don't listen to them. Can you please listen to them? Just give it a try for a couple months, not a couple days. Because the first time I took it, I was like, ew, it makes me sleepy. Well, if you're a super high energy person, you don't like to feel sleepy. And so I was like, I ain't taking this. And my daughter's like, Mom, give it a chance. Give it a couple months. So I did. And now it's like a lifesaver. And let me tell you why I think it's saving my life. I would drive. If you don't have good REM sleep, deep sleep, which is when your body, my understanding is when your body's doing all of its healing and repair, and I walk around the day sort of semi-fatigued or tired all day long, but can't sleep, right? Super tired, but can't sleep. What happens for me when I'm driving on the road to my gigs late at night, I'm driving home, and as soon as I get on the freeway, it's like, oh no, there we go. My body wants to sleep. That's when I want to sleep. And I have driven worse than any drunk driver I know on the road, sleepy, for years. I think all of the angels, God, or whoever has been protecting me. Scary. I've had some scary, sleepy moments on the road. Well, being prescribed this medication, that is the main impact. I mean, I'm sure it's helped me all over, but when I drive home now, I don't get sleepy. I'm alert, I'm awake, I'm driving safely. And so the other thing about getting sleep is it is the first and most important thing for a singer. That and hydration. Sleep and hydration. Sleep and hydration. If I am lacking in any of those two things, it impacts my performance in a big way. So I'm always carrying, like, I always got liquid. I don't drink water. We could talk in a whole nother session about that. I do drink water, but I don't drink, my massive quantity is flavored water. I started to weed out the caffeine ones, but I get caffeine from my Monster and my energy drinks, which is my vice that I need to, that's the next thing I know it's going to have to go. But for today, I do hydrate a lot. I drink about at least a gallon of liquid. At least a gallon of liquid a day. At least a gallon. So, and then I also, like the sleep thing and the hydration, I also sometimes drink drinks with electrolytes, because I'm very prone to cramping, like cramping, especially after I'm jumping and performing on stage, and then sitting in a car. But I'll even talk more about that another time. But just for today, please prioritize your sleep and know that, and budget that in or schedule it in, because that is just as important as your performance. It impacts my performance in such a huge way. So I'm very grateful for my Dr. Guntapalli in Covina. Very grateful for him, for his wise consultation and guidance for me for these past couple decades. And I'm also grateful to my daughter, who's a physician's assistant in Atlanta. I'm going to brag about my beautiful, smart daughter who spoke to me in just the way where I could hear her and I could take the direction that was given to me. Because I also suffer from the defiance syndrome, don't like to be told what to do by authority syndrome. So, I don't know. These are my go-to pajamas. They glow in the dark. I didn't take my makeup off. Bad, Becky. And I don't know. I have no filters on, but this camera makes my skin look better than it really is. The life of a singer. You hear my voice. It needs some warming up. I'm being soothing with it, but my vocal coach would probably have me speaking a little bit more here and making sure that I'm, using my breath control to have the sound versus letting it all fall out like that, right? So, morning breath, I'm just going to warm it up because it's fatiguing to even speak. You can hear my fatigue. And I've been performing a couple shows these past days. Oh my God, this is a 9-minute video. Please put something in the chat or the comments if you actually listened. You get, like, I'm going to come up with some virtual, like, awards that if you listened to any of this or got anything from it. So thank you. Have a beautiful day and go be you and go be the best you that you can be. And don't put any pressure on yourself to be anything better. You are perfect just the way you are. Just the way you are. There's nothing to fix. Perfect just the way you are. Thanks for listening.